Welcome to Bold Talk Series, where creativity, leadership, ideas, innovation come together. My name is Epi Ludvik, and today I have a privilege to have a short one-on-one conversation with Paul Hoggard, the head of US at Igloo, where he's reshaping spatial access through human-first design, modern engineering, and immersive technology that transforms how people connect with their environments. Paul, welcome to our Bold Talk Series. How are you?
Excellent, Epi. Thanks for having me.
Great. Well, Paul, I was looking forward to this conversation. So here we are. And let's dive in first with Igloo. Can you just give us a quick run into what Igloo does and how did you get involved in with Igloo?
Absolutely. So Igloo is a leader in access control. We really pride ourselves on having a multitude of flexible options, both on the hardware and software side, and we can operate with managed access either with or without Wi-Fi. So we really specialize. We're strong in the property management space, both single family and multifamily. And then we also do a significant amount of access control in non-property space as well, such as utilities, logistics, shared economy, schools, sports and recreation. Really any place that might need access that doesn't always have the infrastructure such as Wi-Fi or network availability to make that easy for them.
Wow. How much of a demand is for this? Because I heard a friend of mine, he's been in the wireless connectivity in industry for a long time, and he was talking about managed Wi-Fi, and just wanted to probably for everyone to understand here, like how big and the demand is right now, given the fact that the peoples and tenants, so they have a different demands in terms of the connectivity and having that type of access control too.
Right, absolutely. There's tremendous demand for all levels of access, right? So if you look at a very high end apartment building or multifamily property, more than likely they will have access throughout the entire community, right? Where you've always got your Wi-Fi connectivity to them. If you look at other properties that haven't reached that level yet, they might still be mechanical key, which of course is very expensive to manage, a risk of residents being locked out through lost keys or through keys being duplicated. Countless of those partners also want a digital solution, but they may not have the investment funds to create a full online access managed system. So that's where we can be very strong, is that we really can put locks on the door, both on the unit doors and throughout the property, have unique controlled access for each resident on that property without having to run any network cables and without having to have Wi-Fi set up. So certainly in the property space, that's there. And then at the broader level, really, if you think about, a school trying to secure baseball fields that can be used by coaches at certain times, days, nights, weekends, or logistics containers, or even, entertainment aspects such as kayaks or boats or those types of things, all of those, they want to be rented and managed. You want to have controlled access, but you still want to let people self-serve and sign up on their own time. So
Yeah.
that's really the place we are very strong in.
Yeah. This market probably 10 years ago was probably not unheard of in a way, right?
Much smaller. Absolutely.
Much smaller. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Now, Paul, coming from an engineer and customer success background, how have those disciplines influenced your approach to growing Igloo's presence in such a complex, and I think also it's a very competitive market, right?
for sure. Yeah. Engineering, and that's where I spent a bulk of my early career. It is really all about breaking down complex problems into simple problems, and engineering is so much about designing and solving problems internally on your products, on your processes. And customer experience is solving problems on external products or external processes for the customer to make the use case work for them. But it is always about problem solving, understanding the why, having options on how to address those, and then moving forward in a methodical and controlled way. So yeah, it's really a lot of parallels between engineering and customer experience. It's applying the same rigor to a different part of the journey.
Yeah. Now, if I understood correctly, Paul, you were talking about Igloo's Access Anywhere technology works even without Wi-Fi or stable connectivity. Is that correct?
Correct.
which both I truly believe are rare and technology complex. Was there a pivotal moment when you saw this feature solves a real world problem in a way that surprised even your team?
Absolutely. Yes. I think one of the really more personal feedback or testimonials that we received, we have an application in Florida where a medical supply company uses our padlocks on lockers around a particular area so that either home healthcare agents or ambulance type services, they can stop by and check out supplies close to their area so that they don't need to drive always back to a hospital or pharmacy. They've got scattered site supplies. And after one of the recent hurricane hit the area, certainly everything was damaged on the coast. Our products were wet and soaked and infrastructure was pretty much wiped out from power and connectivity. But yet our padlocks that we were using to secure those still worked. The supplies that were needed on site in those areas were still able to be accessed. And really appreciate that feedback. And that was a problem we really hadn't thought about something of that severity, but it worked and worked well.
Now, how do you balance between a retrofit friendly hardware company and a software first platform at the same time, especially in a region where legacy infrastructure is often the norm?
Yeah, for sure. So, a couple of different answers to that thought. On a hardware side, um, we have a team of hardware experts with certainly decades of experience here. So on the hardware side, we know how to design products that will fit legacy prep, stores, frames, all of the pieces there. But it's really more on the or I'm sorry, on the
The software.
software and solution side where there might be an old system in place and someone looking to upgrade may still be using that and want hours, or the other one may be down completely. So we are super flexible there. We just released a product called the Igloo Switch, which I won't go into all the details, but it is an access control system that has all, or a access control module, I should say, that has all of the features that we've talked about. Doesn't need Wi-Fi, still has a lot of flexibility, and it can work on top of these other systems, for example. So if you want to keep one in place, you can put our switch and our platform on top of an existing system, and they will work together. Or you could shut down the other system and just use ours. But there's no rip and replace. There's no pulling new wires. There's no setting up any complex infrastructure or Wi-Fi or networking needs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really a strong value proposition for us. And again, it works very well for customers who maybe haven't been able to maintain a system, or again, who just want to step in to access for the first time. We really have a good solve there.
Yeah. Very important. Now, I go to your website and I look at it. I said there's a strong emphasis at Igloo's on reliability to the point where the padlock was tested in space. Is that a marketing gimmick or is true story?
That is absolutely a true story. So for our 8th anniversary, we did charter effectively a weather balloon, and we mounted multiple of our padlocks on this balloon and took it up about 25 miles into space. We had a particular configuration so that we could operate it remotely there, verify they worked in the near vacuum of space or in the harsh environment of the upper atmosphere. Then we let them fall back down as a controlled fall effectively from that height and tested them on the ground, and they continued to work. So certainly, um, we have a broad array of products, and our deadbolts and key boxes and the other pieces that we have are all tested to standards and very rugged. But for true durability, our padlock is a piece that we're very proud of. And yeah, that's just one of the many tests that we've done with that.
Amazing. Now, I understood that you're over 100 cities and generated more than 25 million credentials a year. With that scale comes super complexity. What's one moment where everything almost broke and how did your team got through it?
Yeah, things that break. Yeah, there's always challenges with hardware and software, and it keeps us busy from time
Hardware
to
is
time.
hard.
Hardware is hard. We know that. Really, I would say it was more environmental aspects on this one, and probably answers that you've heard before. We were born out of the need for easier key control and short-term rental spaces, and so COVID obviously impacted us very severely there when travel was restricted. People weren't moving around that much or going to vacation properties as much. Um, it was what was the pivot there. And what did happen is think about like outdoor amenities. So kayaks, paddle boards, RVs, where there's small group activities or family activities that now sprung up as side hustles or even full-time jobs for a lot of people. And these services needed security. They needed a way to monitor checkouts. They needed a way to make sure that their equipment was still locked up at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That was really a pivot that was done there. And then likewise with all the recent tariff activity. I mean, that is as a international company with the global supply chain, no small task, trying to find the right decisions for keeping your supply chain robust. And our operations team has done a great job of navigating that journey and ensuring we have a robust supply chain regardless of the current economic environment.
I can imagine, especially in manufacturing. That's huge in supply chain, as you mentioned. Paul, you led teams across growth, product support, engineering, and project management. When you think about building a truly resilient team, what's something you do differently from what conventional playbooks might suggest?
Sure. Resilient, I love the word, right? It just means, keeping your head up, staying positive, staying motivated and engaged during problems. And certainly on the engineering side, that's really the definition of that job is to push through problems and find solutions. But from a team standpoint, I don't know that it's off the playbook, but it's really staying grounded for me. It's being your own customer, living the customer experience, good or more importantly, bad if something goes wrong. It's being on site if there's a customer issue. It's being in the factory if there's a production issues. So from my standpoint, it's really more of kind of the undercover boss approach where you're out in the wild and you really understand what's happening, feet on the ground, hands a little bit dirty. And again, it's just really the way I'm wired, but I think it's important. I think the team respects that from time to time. And generally, I think it maintains that rapport and cohesiveness across the group if everyone's willing to chip in when needed.
Yeah. Yeah. Do for and go for things that everybody's effort it makes a greater outcome. And I've seen that companies and teams when everybody chips in, it's truly a remarkable results because it just sends a completely different signal to everyone from top to the bottom. Now, Paul, this is a short format conversation. Thanks for joining me in this Bold Talk series. Hopefully, looking forward to meeting you maybe in your hometown for Indy 500. This was something I just was telling you about early before we started recording this. I always ask this last question to my guests to get different opinions and different ways how people express themselves, and that is like, what does the word bold mean to you?
It's courage. I think it doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need to be overbearing. It's the courage to make a decision, whether it's with the product, with the team. You always want to act with integrity. You want to act with data, but you have to make a decision. And that's where I would go with that one.
Be courageous with integrity. That's the way I'd like to end this Bold Talk series. Paul, great seeing you. Thank you for having me and for being here in this Bold Talk series. And looking forward to seeing you again soon. Until next time, take care, be great, and be bold always. Bye bye.
Thank you.